My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And for the past several months, we have been tantalizing you with things we could not talk about. We'd be like, yeah, I know it's what we're watching, and you're like, why aren't they watching this big popular show? And we're like, we are, but we can't talk about it because we don't cross a picket line, and there was a strike, and an actor's strike against the streamers, and you're like, okay, if they're on the American-owned streamers, we can't talk about that.
Be good people.
Yeah, we gotta stick to our moral code. However, the strike should be officially over. Now, okay, as a little addendum, it hasn't their new deal hasn't been personally ratified. They're still voting on it, so they're still going over the deal with all of the members of SAG-AFTRA and going over the deal. However, SAG themselves have said you can go do all
They're
the
officially
stuff.
off strike right now, officially.
So
now, if the votes don't happen, there might be a reinstatement of the strike, but that's
and
not
then we will clam up.
thing.
So we're in a very quick position to, just as of right now, we are fine to chat about all the stuff, all the shows we couldn't tell you we were watching, but you knew we
or
were
the
watching.
newsy stuff, like the shows that are going to happen soon.
Yeah, we couldn't talk about any of that. But guess what, baby? This week we can, so...
Man, I was even policing myself on, not just, my opinions on things, but for instance, there's, the, YouTube channel that does the Asian drama Netflix stuff, trying to, whatever they used to be called, now it's K-content stuff. The Swoon!
Yeah.
Used to be the Swoon, now it's that.
Yeah.
I usually love watching that and talking about it, especially if it's really cute or funny, because they do some really funny, unique things. And so even that, I would maybe go watch it, but then I'd be like, I can't. Me sharing this is actively promoting people going and checking out on the streamer. So even that type of thing, I'd be like, oh, are you guys are getting me? Come on.
You smalls.
So from July 14th.
Wow!
July 14th.
I was looking at my list and I was like, how far back? I was trying to remember what I haven't talked about.
Yeah, and I tried to not watch stuff because I knew that if I started watching things and then I couldn't talk about it, I'd either slip up or it'd be really upsetting, and then I was like, okay, I'll just switch to stuff, and then also so I had stuff to talk about in what we were watching. I was like,
exactly.
I don't want to be well, I watch all these things and now I can't tell you anything. So
and when I tell you, because I was going away for most of August, we had episodes planned that we had
an episode recorded.
We have an episode
for this podcast,
which will probably come. Listen, it's an audio only format, so our new fancy video, it doesn't exist for that. But
that's how long it is.
If there's ever, that's how long ago it is. But if there's ever a week where just because of scheduling, that episode may come alive once more. But when I tell you, so many bangers came out during that time too, and so many bangers
they were really tempting us
that were made specifically for me, and I could not talk of them.
And sometimes it would even be situations connected to those dramas, and I'll talk about one specifically when we get to it. But there would be happenings oh, we're going to shorten this. Because of the midst of all this stuff, sometimes things were getting shortened and things were really affected. And so many things were happening, and I was just going, I can't even talk about it. It's killing me.
And then I would see other people posting about it. And as a little insight into my frustrations with social media, sometimes, and I know this happens to everyone, you see just the most absolutely horrible take on something.
A bad take. Yeah.
And you're just
and you're like,
and I'm like, no, I can't. I can't.
I can't
this
correct
is a trap. I can't. I just have to let you continue to say vile, awful things,
or
just
go
about my day.
Someone be like, "Oh, I like this, this, and this," and I was like, "I know the perfect drama for you."
tell you about it.
Netflix.
Yeah, recommendations started getting real skinny, especially when it was
People
obvious.
talking about them,
when it was obvious that they were just listing like Netflix ones, and it's like,
when they only watch.
I want to help you, but I can't right now.
Or like,
I do have enough like in my background to be like, hey, this is this, and I was able to do it. But there were sometimes you're like, the perfect drama is this, and I can't even talk about it.
I would love to tell you to watch Doom at Your Service. I would love to do it, but you know where that's streaming right now, even though that's not where I originally watched it? Netflix, so I can't tell you shit.
That's also what Sneaky too is, how things would go back and forth.
Anyway, so like there may have been a few slip-ups because of that sort of nature, but I don't count those because we were trying our best.
We were,
there was
but in this
we're
moment,
just gonna start talking about it now.
In this moment where we and the SAG-AFTRA members are allowed to talk about their projects, we're gonna talk about. We're just gonna tell you about the stuff that we loved that we couldn't talk about when we loved it because of this, and just that's just how this is gonna go. Okay, that was the purpose of this episode, was to tell you all about the stuff that we loved that we couldn't tell you about when we loved it.
I'm gonna bring up something from an eternity and a half ago that I think it was possible as even pre-strike, and I just forgot to bring it up. And then when I figured it out later, it was in the midst of strike and I couldn't say anything. Kill Bok Soon.
Wow, yeah.
Which I don't remember when it dropped. In fact, let me just click on it.
It was right around.
It was March.
I feel like. Was it?
But I think we had talked about doing like a hit list episode about Kill Bok Soon.
Yeah.
And then it was like, never mind. Well, womp womp. That was a fun idea.
Kill Bok Soon, not much to say about other than really cool stylistically. A lot more. There's a neat aspect, there's neat aspects to the story. It's really well done. It is not for everybody. It's very much for people that like stylized graphic violence. That is where you go for that type of person. But I just want to say I really enjoyed it because I wasn't able to talk about it. So great acting, really cool, really shot well. It was really neat. So.
Yeah.
Really cool.
There was one that, it actually came out before the strike, but it aired on the Chinese subscription Youku, where I watched it, which would have been fine for me to talk about. But then the official Western release was done after it was done airing, started on Netflix, and we were going to do an episode. It was one of our scrapped episodes, and that is the Chinese drama Hidden Love that I absolutely adored.
I think you and most of the Chinese drama watchers.
Yeah. I loved it, but see, I watched it before it was on Netflix because I had I had bought a Youku subscription to watch Till the End of the Moon specifically. I was like, okay, I'll buy it to watch Till the End of the Moon, and then this started, and I was like, well, I still have it, because I bought, the 6-month one that was, I was like, okay, I'll start watching it, and I was like, oh my god, guys, I fucking love this drama, it's so, just, innocently romantic, it's just,
It's super cute.
It's got, cute vibes and everything, so we were like, ooh, and people are really loving it, ooh, this is gonna be a good episode, we're gonna, do it, and then the strike hit, we were like, never mind. Let's take it back. Let's, but yeah, it was, for anyone who hasn't watched it, it was just, this girl falls in love with her brother's friend, and then they go their separate ways because her brother's friend is not a creep. This is important to know.
Yeah,
he's not a creep. And so he goes away and they re-meet as adults. And then he's like, well, damn. There's a little
You're
something,
an adult.
Something. There's a little me, an adult you, there's a little something. So it wasn't any of that, I have to wait till she's 18. No, it was he was on doing his own life.
Yeah, and the way that they got together was really sweet. It's very organic. started liking her because of her actions, her genuine actions towards him. So it like really like kind of solidified like where it was like this could have gone creep levels. You could have like had more interaction with them when they were younger, so then it would be weird that like
but all
they're
the
finding each other
when they're young was so appropriate.
It was like literally little sister.
Yeah, it was
like
very much.
She had a crush on him, but he would just look at her like
he was 19 and not interested in a 14-year-old like you.
And young kid crush is such a different thing. Like,
I mean, and he was also just nice to her. He wasn't like I'm going to like mess with your little sister because she's the little sister.
No,
he was just like genuinely
nice. That was the other friends. He was just like no. Like there's this one scene, and I think this is just like so telling of like his character, where she gets her period for the first time when they're all out, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's freaking out, and he's like, I got you. Like he's like, bring this to your sister. Like he's like, I bought you a new skirt. I got you some pads. Like don't freak out. It's gonna be fine. And like doesn't embarrass her or make it like a big deal or bring it to the attention of like the brothers' other friends that are with them. He's just like, it's gonna be okay. And it was that energy. Then they don't see each other for several years. And then they meet up again. And he's just like, oh, you're like really cool. And we still like we work as a couple now that we're both adults and I'm not a creep. And you're just like,
you did it.
Yeah,
you did it.
We did it. We made a not creepy.
Yeah, like I was prepping to watch it because we were talking about like we were going to do an episode on it, and just stuff happened, and we didn't get to do it.
Yeah,
but it was.
And the brother, I love the brother.
Yeah, so like just
brother, his relationship with his friend, his relationship with his sister, like it's just good.
What I loved about it is that like he's just like they have like a very even sibling relationship, but then as soon as he figures out that they're dating, he tries to like go like protective brother, and she's like, shut the fuck up. Absolutely not. Like no. You're not pulling
What got me on it was that like on TikTok people were posting a bunch of stuff about it, but they were like showing like behind the scenes clips of everything, and the main actress is just so much fun.
She is. I
like,
love all her
just her
too.
Personality is so great, and so it's just like you could tell they were having a lot of fun on set. So it's like, oh, this looks interesting, and like I didn't like watch through the entire thing, mainly because we didn't do the podcast, so I had no like. You know,
it's not really a Jessie drama.
It's like, not, but it was like very sweet. Like it's a very, it's not like rom-commy. Like there's a lot of stuff that is happening, and it's not like too tense, but it's like you understand why their relationship happens and like happens so naturally. And I just thought they worked well together on screen too. That's like part of the greatness of that drama.
It was a delight. A+. I gave it a 9 out of 10, which is like pretty high for me, for like especially for like a C-drama like rom-com. Like that's
So one of the things for me that was like really hard was that Netflix decided they were going to put every J-drama out.
Oh my God,
I think there has been about 20 J-dramas, like, and they're all like, you know, various like years. They're like older, they're newer stuff. But one of the dramas that like I'm currently halfway through, which was like, I'm pretty sure it's if it's exclusive, it's exclusive for the North American rights, like at least, is this one called Burn the House Down. And it's this like mystery thriller, but like also revenge story about a girl who like house caught on fire when she was like younger. She was like a part of like a rich family, and like this was in her teens, like so she lost everything, and so she's come back after a while, like she's in like early 20s, to be a maid to this woman who was her former maid, who she suspects is the one who burnt down their house to gain all of their like riches and wealth and stuff. And there's like things with like her son, and it's just like, it's very intriguing, and it's like so like perfectly like great like J-drama like entertainment. and of course it's like on Netflix now, and like even like what's his face, the kid from Cherry Magic,
he has like a bazillion on there.
He's got so many on there.
Like, because also another episode that we were gonna do, like Natalia and I were gonna do a hit list on Zom 100, because so they released the anime Zom 100, and then they released the live action, which starred the kid from Cherry Magic.
And it was
we were
fun.
Gonna just do this like whole thing, and then like we're like,
fun. It was like a fun, silly movie. Like I was like, well, this was a lovely dream that we had, but I guess we'll watch M instead. You should check out our last week's episode on M. But oh my goodness.
But like, I'm not exaggerating when there was at least 20, like probably like a lot more J-dramas that released like since the strike has happened. It's just been like a constant stream of J-dramas. I'm like,
Jessie.
What world am I living in that like I can't talk about these J-dramas that are like freely accessible, like legally accessible for me, all on Netflix. Even like Amazon Prime had some J-dramas pop up too, and I'm like, what?
That's even over there, because there was like, I think, is it like Vampire Hotel or something? Like there was a really cool looking one. Same thing over on Netflix. Like I would just wish list a ton of stuff, but when we're doing the podcast, like I only have so much time. So like, where am I going to spend my time?
And like legitimately, they were dropping things that were like airing. Because I'm like in the middle of one called Angel Flight, and I think I like started to talk about it like right before everything went down. But like, there was another drama that I tried that was like coming out every week on Amazon Prime. That was a J-drama too, and I'm like, what world am I in now that I can't talk about any of these things?
And you've been willing J-dramas to become legally accessible to North America for so long.
That's been one of our constant New Year's wishes every year.
For Jessie.
Yeah. What a monkey's paw.
It took so long, and then now.
The finger on the monkey's paw curls. Oh. But now we can talk about them. We can talk about them. When I tell you a show started, and it wasn't on Netflix. It was on Disney Plus in Canada, and it was on Hulu in the States. And it started out in August, and they dropped 7 episodes at once, and I watched all 7 in one day, and was like, holy shit. This is the greatest thing ever. And then, in like the last scene of episode 7, there was another 13 episodes to come. Okay?
I had forgotten that's how it dropped. That's awful. And it was going to be 2 a week after this. Okay? And then the last episode of episode 7, suddenly Zoe and Sung appears. And I was like, what? I'm talking about the drama Moving, which I'm pretty sure is my top drama of the year, unless something wild happens in December.
I haven't finished it, but like, there's just no way. I watched like 13 episodes in a row. Like, it's just not possible for it not to be top 10.
Drama. Wow. Like, okay, so it was coming out while I was in New Jersey staying with family, okay? And 2 episodes would come out on Wednesdays, and I would be like, get the fuck out of the living room. Like, it's moving time for Natalia, okay? So anyone who for some reason has missed this masterpiece show, it follows these 3, mostly 2, but there is a third guy in there, high school student. This is the first half of it, and the last bit, who all you find out have superpowers, but not only do they have superpowers, their parents have superpowers, okay? And their parents all either used to work for or had dealings with, basically, the national security agency. They were Black Ops agents, most of them, okay? Or like worked, or were unfortunately had run-ins with, like this sort. And when I tell you, this show, like, you find out, not only do you find out about the main character is this sweet, adorable being.
Oh my gosh.
Sunshine of a character.
Who can fly. But it's not so much like, at the beginning he can't really fly, but he floats if he's not paying attention.
Yeah.
And so
like how she has to weigh it down.
Yeah, so his mom, his sweet, lovely
Where's
mother,
some extras?
Makes him eat a lot so he gains weight, so he's cute and chubby and round. And then she, like, puts weights and full water bottles and is like, drink all this water, and then if you pee it out, fill the bottle and drink it again, so you're always weighed down, so you don't float away.
Then he, like, floats, like, when he's dreaming, or when he's happy, or when he's sad, like, there's, like, extremes kind of make him, like, just float on away.
But also, and this is only, like, somewhat explored in the second half, you find out that's what his father did, okay? His father could fly. But his mother has, like, super hearing. And so he also has super hearing. And so he's just, like, hearing shit he shouldn't be hearing. So meanwhile, you have these sweet children, this wonderful child who meets this girl who can heal, and doesn't matter what happens to her, she can heal. Like, you could cut off her arm and it'll reattach itself and heal. Mm-hmm. And then, like, their parents and these parents of other superhero people are being hunted by this dude who can also heal, who's from Iowa. Iowa! Who was raised by, like, and then you find out all about, like, the parents' stories and how, like, the parents met each other, and then it's like, then North Korea gets involved, because North Korea has, like, when I tell you, the show is a masterpiece.
It really is, and it's a lot darker than you expect for the show. Like, I mean, like, very graphic.
Yeah, it's very, like, and I think it made it pretty clear. It did, like, in the first 7 episodes, the second half, not the second half, the second 2/3, I guess, were much more graphic than the first 7 episodes, but it didn't, but the first 7 episodes still were violent and graphic, so it's not like... Yeah,
you were in the know.
Yeah, one of the takes I saw that I was just like, you're wrong, and I can't comment on it, was that people were like, I feel like I was so hoodwinked by this show because, like, it was so sweet and cute, and then suddenly it's, like, violent and dark. I'm like, it was dark the whole time.
They have superpowers. Of course it's gonna be dark. Okay. Yeah, like, the one guy, like, he's really, like, starting very early on, because it's, like, part of the mystery, like, of the show. It's like, what's going on?
The assassin guy?
Yeah.
Like, he was around early on.
Maybe the most, like, big major, like, and it's not a major death, but, like, a death that you see on screen is, like, second episode, so it's, like, very early on.
And it wasn't a polite little death. It was
no. Like, these were graphic, gruesome deaths. So anyway, I was like, you weren't. You're lying to people right now. You weren't lied to. You are the liar at this very moment. And I'm like, listen, I want to defend the show, but I can't. God,
it's just
such a perfect show.
It's so good.
It's like good.
Got the air of X-Men because of, like, the kids, like, finding out their powers and, like, finding out that, like, other kids have powers too. Yes. So it has that, like, aspect of it. But it's just, like, also just a really good action show,
and it's also a spy thriller.
And a great, like, family drama as well, because the parents are so good.
Romance aspect?
Yeah, like...
it's got every sort of romance you want.
It's got everything.
And then the two, like, kids are so adorable together and so sweet together. And just, like, so... just much fun.
I just want to pinch his little cheeky. Okay. Moving is so perfect.
I wish I remembered how quickly, because... my husband watched it when he was sick in bed for a while, and I want to say he watched it in, like, a day or two. Like, he just inhaled it. It was just gone, and he loved it a lot. He was like, that was so cool.
Yeah, and it was one of the, like, shows that Hulu and Disney Plus, like, it came out at the same time. Like, so when, like, it dropped, it was dropping at the same time.
Yeah. So it wasn't one that they made you wait for. It was just like, here you go, enjoy, bye-bye. And I'm like, you're monsters. You're all monsters. Like, you're putting this out when I can't personally talk about it. Is a crime against me, Natalia. So good.
I had similarly on Disney Plus that Family, The Unbreakable Bond, which like aired last year in like December or something, but Disney just held on to it like little jerks, and then they dropped it here. And I started watching it, but then I was watching other stuff. I was, just not watching a lot. So, and then the strike, and it was like, well, if I'm only watching so much right now, I'm gonna watch IPE so I can talk about it on the podcast, right? Like I'm not gonna.
I'm fairly positive I probably would have watched more if not for this podcast. If we didn't have like a what we're watching episode that I had to like talk about, like I would have like probably, but like. I will say that, like, I didn't watch anything where I didn't already have the subscription to. Like, I didn't start up a subscription to watch something. So that was, like, a big thing. Like, if it was, like, on another platform that was part of the strike that, like, I didn't have a subscription for, like, I wasn't going to watch it.
Yeah.
Same.
Or, like, talk about it.
So,
or, like, and get the subscription.
They, like, announced it, and I pulled Family off the whole shelf and was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this again, and I'm so glad I am because I'm really enjoying it. Like it's just
I took a little peek at that one a few months back. Like I watched a couple of episodes. It was pretty cute.
It starts out very family drama and very like he's a spy and a sniper and whatever, but his family doesn't know about it, and so she, of course, his boss is a woman, so of course she thinks he's having an affair with his boss, and it's just that sort of like family stuff.
Because he's always on work trips. Well, his work trips are like
it's like The Incredibles, right? Like
exactly, and I haven't quite got there yet, but they're starting to like hint at. It's very like The Incredibles.
There's something about her too.
She's got things going, if you look at the thumbnails for the later episodes, she's all in like black and leather and like looks like she's gonna kick people's butts too. So it's
like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith type thing where like, they don't know each other.
I'm very much enjoying it, and I look forward to hopefully finishing it before the year's up.
I'm actually going to connect on that. So speaking of Jang Hyuk, he has a movie out. It's on Amazon. At least in the States, it's on Amazon. It's called The Killer. The subtitle is A Girl Who Deserves to Die. It's not listed like that on Amazon. And also don't get freaked out by that title. That is not, that's nothing. So the only reason I knew about this was I watched Jang Hyuk on an episode of Jim Jungkook on YouTube, because they're like best buds, and they were boxing together. It was this really funny episode, and because he was trying to promote this movie, so he kept talking about this movie, because is he also the director? Let me go see. He definitely did all of the fight choreography for it himself. Wow. Like he's very, very proud of this movie. So I was like, okay, dude, I'll go check it out. So I did, like last month, and couldn't talk about it. But like, I was like, when I saw it was on Amazon, I'm like, yes, because I was thinking, well, I'm gonna have to track it down somehow, or like, rent it at some point or whatever. But I was like, it's on Amazon? Well, yeah. So
say less.
Essentially, he's like, so he's an assassin but he has stopped doing that. Like he's just
a classic.
He's a stay-at-home husband. They don't have kids, but like they have a happy marriage, all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. She goes off on a trip with her friend. Girlfriend. Like they go on a trip to like the Philippines or something. I don't remember, some other country. And he has to watch the teenage daughter of the friend. Just to like keep an eye on her, essentially. She starts getting into trouble, and not shenanigans ensue. Bad things happen to this girl very, very quickly. And so he's not a dad, but he has to suddenly be in dad mode and like go after all these people, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper into like this organization and things where he's having to definitely, if you don't like just choreographed fight stuff, that is what it is in its entirety. Like that is but it's very, very well done. I watched a lot of the behind the scenes of it too. Very entertaining. Like they had a lot of fun making it. It is very, very dark. if you like Kill Bok Soon, you will like this. I actually highly recommend it. I do like the themes of it too. Even there's a little bit of a plot going on. There's a little bit of a mystery. There's a twist at the end. It's. I thought it was really, really good. If I had to put it up against all these other, because I've watched a couple of these action-y movies lately, this is my favorite by far. I will probably rewatch it. I highly, highly recommend it for folks that like that type of thing. I know that is not everybody's thing. The reason it is called A Girl Who Deserves to Die, it's the opinion of not the main character. Like, essentially, all this stuff keeps happening to this girl, and so it just kind of ascribes to that. It doesn't have to do with he's not trying to kill the girl. It's not.
Yeah.
So
also, it's for free on Tubi. Like, you can watch it on Tubi for free, and it's. I just
there you go.
It's an adaptation. And double checked, and yes, you can.
It's an adaptation of a novel, so like I think it did pretty well. And a lot of familiar faces, honestly. Like a lot of the main characters, you're like, yep, I know those people. So just wanted to tag the assassin thing, and I guess I will follow up my other main action-y movie I watched, Netflix, Ballerina. It came out lately.
Oh yeah. It's on my list.
One
weekend I watched Ballerina and then I watched The Killer. So like that was
you had an intense weekend that weekend.
that was the mood I was in, evidently.
This guy was in her hit list phase.
Yeah. So Ballerina, I just want to give a huge content warning on for everybody. It is highly stylistic. It is very graphic. And sexual content. Sexual assault specifically. So like I do not want people to go in thinking that it's just going to be fights. It is also the sexual assault aspect of things, and there's some sadness there as well. So that is the content warning I wish to put. I thought it was really well done. But yeah, the bittersweet aspect of it too. So like really cool younger director, like all of the like music and stuff, like there's some interviews with them. It's really fascinating, like the way this all came together, and I thought it was really well done. I do recommend it, but I would probably be careful with who to recommend it to, because it is much more particular with that. Whereas, I mean, I will say the Killer movie as well, there's a little bit of sexual assault involved, but it wasn't as graphic. So like Ballerina is much graphic on that sense, and longer, showing things much longer on screen and stuff like that. So just beware. But I do recommend it. It was really well done.
So Natalia, like had her number one drama watched during this time.
I was literally going to try to segue you into this. I had a little segue. I had a segue for you, but you beat me to it. Okay,
sorry.
right.
I also watched my number one drama of the year. There's nothing beating this. And that is Revenant, which was on Disney Plus and Hulu. It came out like delayed on Hulu. Like it was definitely delayed from Disney Plus. I don't know if it was an airing thing on Disney Plus though.
It wasn't an airing thing. It came out like
it just dropped out.
It didn't drop all at once, but it came out like
in chunks.
Like a week, like a couple weeks or a week or so after, I think.
You know, you have those dramas where you like look at them and you're like, I'm going to like this drama, and then you kind of just like don't watch it just because you're like, no, I don't want to like fall.
What if I don't?
But like also you're like, what? I don't want to make this my personality. Like I'm already so into everything, and I put it off for so long, and then I finally just like gave in. And Revenant is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
And didn't you finish it like the week that the strikes came over?
Yeah, I got like really lucky in that like I like had like delayed and finally I was like, I have a free weekend, let's go. And then the strikes ended.
Timing wise, that was really good for
perfect. But there was like, but I still had some days where like I couldn't say anything, where I was like, oh no, I can't say anything, and I'm watching this like great drama. So it is about possession, demonic, like actual, like it's specifically like a specific ghost. So it like it's a little bit different than most of like the possession shows and movies that I think usually we see, and especially in Korea, because I think Korea like does more like Catholic possession, so it's like an actual like demon, and within this they're very specific on which like specific type of ghost is possessing them and like the reasons behind it. So there's like less it's less religious like possession, but it's like also this like mystery story, and so it's like stars Kim Tae-ri, who is absolutely phenomenal.
Incredible.
She's so good, and she technically plays like so many characters in this drama because she is like the main one possessed.
I always think that's fascinating to watch.
Yeah. But like, so it basically, it's like she's like starting to like find out who her dad was, because her mom has like purposely kept her away from her dad once they like separated, and you find out that the dad was really into into folklore, and like he was a professor, and like he gets possessed, but he also like ends up kind of like passing the possession to his child in a way. And just the whole entire show, it's like her, and then I didn't even write down the other actor, from
Hong Kyung?
the guy.
Yeah, Hong Kyung. From
the older
Weak
guy.
Hero. Oh, the older guy.
From like
Oh Jung Se.
Oh yeah.
He's so good in this as well. And they play because he like is a professor as well in folklore and knew her father and stuff, and so he's kind of takes over as like wanting to protect her, but they're also trying to like figure out stuff, and like he's also been affected by this ghost, and like the main thing with the ghost is also like a very big spoiler, or like it's a spoiler, but it's like a very much a trigger warning content. The way that the ghost attacks people is they make them commit suicide. So it's like every death is like committing suicide. So I want you to know going in, that's a thing. But like Kim Won-hae is in it. He's like a police detective with like the kid who's like also like crushing her on her, and like it's like everything like I ever want in a drama, just like put in to a drama. Like it's got the mystery, it's got the crime, it's got the thriller, it's got the horror aspects to it.
Well, and even the really folklore thing, acting. Like that's something that you gravitate towards.
Like, it's how the Sell Your Haunted House, like they talk specifically about the egg ghost. That's the level of like they talk about whatever, I can't remember which ghost it is in this one, but it's so good. And Kim Tae-ri in this is just absolutely phenomenal. Like it's just like watching her act, it's just so nice to watch, and it's just like in this perfect drama that I also really like outside of her performance, and like everybody else's like performance in it is also really good. Also another person that we've done a deep dive on, I never know people's names. The grandmother.
Oh yeah.
So it's who's in everything. She's Go
Kim
Mrs. Go, and Kim Hae-suk is in it. Yeah, it's just so good.
She's busy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's also
busy.
Right she's in the spinoff to Strong.
Yeah.
No Long Sushi. And when I tell you you're not prepared for the fashion that this woman is like, she's hot in this. She's bringing her feminine wild.
Whatever. I got to that scene, and I messaged Ty. I was like, "Mommy." I
messaged Sky, and I'm like, Sky, I know you're gonna watch Strong Girl, and when I tell you, you are not prepared for the outfit that you see when they introduce Kim Hae-suk's character. You're not prepared for it. You're not. It involved fishnets. It involved faux fur.
There was a lot going on.
There were the highest heels you've ever seen. A wig. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was working
perfect.
It.
Yeah.
Nice.
Another one that we couldn't talk about until now.
Yeah, that's a Netflix one. Yeah.
But Revenant, like on the scary level, like.
I do think
high.
It's probably going to be scary for a lot of people, especially if possession is not your thing. It's mainly because like when like there's a lot of parts when like Kim Tae-ri's character is possessed, because she's like kind of the main person. It gets dark really quick, and she's really convincingly like creepy. And then also when you try, like there's also a lot of like there's also an aspect of like child death and murder and stuff in it as well, and you start to see what is happening throughout the story, and so there's flashbacks, and those flashbacks are really creepy and like unsettling too. So like I think between those, I think it like, even if like not all of it is super horror, I think a lot of people will find it like kind of maybe hard to watch. But it might be okay for someone like maybe if like you try to like keep to like daytime and not like you know, but there are some like it genuinely does do horror. Like it's not like just.
I'm on episode 5 right now. Jessie, I was gonna watch it anyway, but Jessie was like, "Don't watch it now." So I've been watching it. When I say if you're a Shaniac, you won't be scared. If you're a Bugara, you will. If you know what I'm talking about. If you know,
that's perfect. Yeah,
you know.
We don't need to explain anything else.
No, it is. It's like the first 4 episodes were incredible, so I'm just like, okay, all right, okay, I'm here, okay. It's another good one.
So touching back to Strong Girl Namsoon though, like, I think I'm only a handful of episodes into it, but it's delivering what it, like,
it's delivering what it said it was going to deliver.
Like, perfect.
I feel like it's the sort of show that it's like it's one of those girls who get it, like it said it was going to. It's like if you liked Strong Woman Do Bok Soon, you're probably gonna like Strong Girl Namsoon. But when I tell you the guy playing the villain in this one,
see, I haven't gotten to that character much yet.
He's killing it. Like listen, I like a villain that you kind of like, there's a reason people like Loki. You know what I mean?
Do you like attractive villains, Natalia?
Don't be coming for me like this.
I say this as I have a Loki Funko. Don't like no.
If on one hand it's like you can disagree with what a villain is doing because what he's doing is bad,
but it could be entertaining as hell.
But he as a character is very compelling, and his relationship with the main female lead becomes more compelling as time goes on because of relationship dynamics that I have previously said I am a big fan of on this podcast, okay? But also, Ong Sung-woo, he's
a cutie pie.
Who's playing, like, the guy you're supposed to root for, And you do, because he is delightful and very sweet. You just want to... him and, like, the female... You just want to pinch their little cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're so cute.
And, like, I feel like this was... this one... Listen, I'm one of those people who actually genuinely likes Strong Woman Do Bong Soon because it really had the whole, like, male simp perfection.
He did, yeah.
Right? Like,
he was the male simp archetype.
He was he was what men should be. You know what I mean? But in this one, I feel like they've really taken a lot more pains to flesh out everyone's storyline. So it's not just like, you get her, you get him, you get the villain in the first one. But this one, it's like, you have her storyline. You have her parent, like her mom and her dad have their own thing. But her mom has her own separate thing going on that like no one else in the family knows about. Then you've got the grandma, played by,
and she's doing stuff.
Oh yeah, she's got her own thing. Then you have her twin brother. And her twin brother has I'm going to be honest, there is a bit of a trigger warning because, and I think they're actually going to address this in a positive way, where he's introduced as, like, someone basically who gets made fun of because he's fat. Shocking in a Korean drama. I've never seen that before. And begins to resent, but his father is really supportive of him. And his mother is really mean to him because he's fat. And then there's like a whole arc about fat phobia just almost destroying his life and how it was so meaningless for this to have been a thing. And I was like, really, like, listen, when I tell you, I was real worried. And it could still go really wrong, okay? It could still go real wrong because, let's be honest, TV in general society worldwide in general, but Korean society in specific is real fatphobic, okay?
Yeah.
But like,
especially when they choose to put it on screen.
Yeah, and also like, to be honest, like, you know, for a Korean actor, sure, he's large, but in the general sense of he's round, okay? Fine. Like, that's, you know. So anyway, but the cop has a storyline. The cop's boss has a storyline. Like, the villain has a whole storyline. That was, like, because in original Do Bong Soon, you never find out why the villain's doing that shit. He's just doing shit.
He's kind of just there.
He's just
like this wild card that you know.
He's just
not
being
much about.
Just absolute psycho but there's never any like, this is his, like, why he's this
or even
way.
how
like,
it relates to any of these people. Like,
any of these things. But like in this one, it's like you find out why he's the way he is. You find out what he's doing and why he's doing it. You find out his backstory.
Do this like story kind of like how they did the original, where it was very comic book like?
Oh, it's even more comic book like.
Because that's what I really liked about it, and I think that's like what a lot of people didn't like realize with the tonal like change. It's because it's like literally like the most like concentrated to be a comic book on screen.
Yeah, and then suddenly you have this very realistic crime thriller, and you're like, oh wait, like
what?
But this one, it's like even what the villain's up to is more comic booky than this one was. So I feel like as a cohesive whole, Strong Girl so far has been much more cohesive as a show. And I love Strong Woman Do Bong Soon, even with all of its problems. I love it. But and you also got a lovely little cameo with the couple from the original being the same couple
which,
from the original.
By the way, that is all legally up on YouTube. Like, you can go, they have it at that K-Contents thing. They're like, if you want to see just that, here you go. Here's your entire cameo.
And it's like the perfect, like, depiction of why, like, of them as they were, like, but, like, older, you know? Oh. Yeah. But anyway, I'm really enjoying it.
Whenever I started watching Strong Girl Namsoon, it starts off being super comic booky and set in Mongolia. And all of a sudden, you're just immediately introduced to, and I'm sure it's a real band. I didn't go like chasing it to the ground, but I have followed some of these types of bands. The metal, like Mongolian metal type
is the opening to this show. Sick.
It's not just they show the instrument, they show the people performing like on a stage at this like strongman battle.
Yeah, it was sick as hell.
And I'm like, did we just start with Mongolian metal, because I am down for this? Like,
and I was initially also very worried because it starts in Mongolia.
Yeah,
I was like, ooh, but no. But no,
they didn't make it bad.
No, it's not. And then it's like she even befriends these homeless people, and I'm like, oh, but no, but no. I was like, okay, like the show is just it's dodging it for me. Like it's like
so far.
Edge,
we'll have to see how they handle that plotline that you talked about, though. So.
But who knows? Maybe if it's like maybe Sky and I at some point will have to get together and do like a did it.
Mock their lines. Did it?
Yeah. Did it?
But yeah, it's very comic booky and very fun. And I feel like the people making it are having fun, which you can usually tell on some shows.
Yeah.
So,
I watched them behind the scenes, and at least the main actors were having a lot of fun. Can I bring up one?
Yeah.
Song of the Bandits. Am I the only one that has watched this?
Because I think so. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
There's just so much to watch.
No, it's fine.
No.
So I didn't pressure her because when did Song of the Bandits come out? Like
it was one of the first that came out right after the strike happened. I feel
it was early September.
Like one of the ones that were like, we want to watch this. Oh crap, it's during this time.
Yeah, so September 22nd is when it popped out. So, this is the drama that I kind of referenced earlier. Mm-hmm. Did this start as a 20 episode historical? and got brought down to 9 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I preface. I love this. I love the show. Did they have to kind of just last episode just kind of be like, here's the end? Like they didn't even... And I wouldn't say it wasn't just one character. It was just like the whole thing. It's like, this is, I guess, how it ended because they couldn't do like...
They were cut off, yeah.
They were just cut off. And you can, based on interviews and the way things have gone, like, I follow Kim Nam-gil close enough. Like, I've seen the stuff he said about it. The crew, the cast and crew, very heartbroken. He is very upset. And he's been trying to kind of find a platform to see if he can finish it. Because, like, pretty much, it was a passion project for a lot of the people that were on it and stuff. And they had a really good time making it. And it was really, really neat. And yet, so story-wise, really good story. But once, it was very build up. And then, and it was the end. Like,
you were such a friggin'
and that is no one's fault other than probably studio side or whatever.
Executive.
Right?
You know what? We don't know whose fault it is, but it's usually the executive's fault.
Yeah, it's always someone who actually doesn't have
any
the highest up,
artistic...
but has no clue about anything. Like, literally can't even tell you, like, what actually, like, will get them more money. Like, they just just happen to be the highest person.
On that vein, it's like I saw like a post on Blue Sky where someone was saying, like, you know, people don't get attached to shows anymore, and it's because they just cancel them even if they're popular because of you know, oh, we can get a tax break if we do. So like, people don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah,
like, and it's just like, I'm like, congratulations on ruining your own product. Like,
it's true.
And you think about, like, the studio that's doing it the most is WB.
WB.
And, like, I mean, they already took Drama Fear away from us, but, like, they've taken a lot of other online. Yeah, they're already on notice, but, like...
Well, and definitely Netflix.
Well, yeah, but, like, with, like a company like that that's so historically ingrained in filmmaking, and to do this to the point,
abandoned filmmaking,
like, they're at a point where people are actively starting to really get upset to the point where it's like there's going to be a change because people are past the breaking point with WB, and they're like focusing on WB. When you
manage to get U.S. senators' attention,
over
a Wile E. Coyote movie situation,
right? You fucked up.
You did something real big in order to make them pay attention.
Point for people, and it doesn't matter like how much money you have and like how much claim you have. There is a breaking point, and there is especially like if everybody starts just like turning to you specifically, even when there's other bad people out in the world. Like if everybody who's pissed off at Netflix just like decides to hold off on Netflix for a little bit and focus on WB, like that's the end of that.
And you know what I love? It's like recently he also came out, like the guy who's making all these choices, David Zaslav, came out and was like, oh, you know, the writers were right all along, like, and I don't mind overpaying some, like I think they're overpaid, but I don't mind overpaying someone if they're quality. I'm like, nice try. We all know already. We know you hold contempt for the people who make the things
like lying,
that make you
like
money.
Nobody believes you.
Nice try. Like, we're not playing this game. Like, you're not gonna turn this around. Ticketmaster 2.0. No one's on your side.
It's true. It really is true.
Yeah. Well, I read that senator said, what did he compare it to? He was like, it's like when you burn down your own building for the insurance money. Yeah, and we don't let people do that. So
no, it is true.
He's
like, it's like, why are people getting taxed? Like,
tax
to
breaks.
Not like
release movies.
To not put out a movie.
It doesn't make sense.
I mean,
it's a movie. Like, why are they getting tax break? It's a movie.
I did see someone with a...
No, go for it.
Okay. I did see someone who had a really great idea about it. And it was saying, if you're going to use this tax loophole and not release a movie to theaters to get tax money for it, then the taxpayer should own that movie and it should exist in the Library of Congress.
Public domain.
Yeah. It should become a public film.
Oh, well.
Like if the taxpayers are paying for it,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not mine.
Then it should belong to the people if that's the way we're gonna play. Like, let's fucking tango, you know?
We'll play.
Ludicrous.
So, Song of the Bandits, I just want to emphasize, it's set in the 20s. They did a real good job. The action's great. I will say it is graphic, but very stylized. It's kind of funny. It does end up being about, like, the gang of bandits or whatever, but it doesn't start off with, like, all this team. Like, you start off just kind of with the main characters. But once they get, I don't remember what episode, once you kind of assemble the team, it's very stylized as far as how they're introducing, this is pretty much the specialty this guy does. This guy's really good with an axe. This guy's...
It's like the Ocean's 11 sort of.
Yeah, the way they did it, it was very, very entertaining. Like, one of the guys, he's a performer clown guy, so he's, like, really acrobatic and stuff. And anyway, I cried a time or two. It was pretty touching. No. Like, it was a whole thing. And then, like, I didn't know it used to be a 20 episoder and it got down to 9.
That sucks.
I knew 9 seemed short. But as I was watching it, and I watched it in one day, thank you, and the pace of it felt normal pace. And then the end was just like, carpet yanked out from under you, this is where you are.
That's even worse than, like,
that's worse than just
knowing that it was set up as, like, a part 1, but, like, then knowing that you probably never get the part 2. But, like, at least it was, like, paced away, like, you know, like, you didn't just have a rush where you're like, oh, we'll never get closure on this because they just
that's ridiculous.
And it really felt like, okay, we built, like, the last episode or two, it's like, okay, it kind of felt like you're building structures for something, like this is where we're gonna go from here, and then it was like, and then, done. We're done. And I was at first I was mad at the writers or whoever, but then when I figured out, it's like, it wasn't the writers, it wasn't the director. This is stuff that they couldn't control. They did the best they could with what they got. Yeah. So, like, if you see people having really bad reviews of it and stuff, I think it's breaking, like, all the cast and crew's heart that it ended up being what it was. And so I still say, like, if you're into any of the performers, like, or just that type of thing, at least go give it an episode or two, because really cool, like, costuming, like, just really, really neat stuff. Even there's the chick Lee Ho Jung, she is, like, a really cool assassin, and she does some really awesome stuff. But yeah, like, go check it out. Just know that it's not, a lot of people would be like, quote unquote, it didn't stick the landing. Like, that's not, but that is not the fault of the show here.
No. The trampoline was yanked out underneath the performer. Like, it's not that. This is a different thing.
And that's what makes it just so, it adds insult to injury, because the entire theme of the show is, you know, like, resistance and fighting against the powers that be, and trying to, you know, the underdogs trying to just exist and live type thing. And then that's what happened to the show. Okay. Like, so if you have any inklings, go check it out at least, please. Just know that that's what happened. You know, and, you know, Kim Nam-gil, he has his own company. Incredible. He might have enough swing that he might be able to do something with it at some point. That would be great.
Yeah. I hope so. Well, I guess it just depends on what contract they signed.
Yep.
Yeah. Netflix could actually just own all of that.
Yeah. And I think it makes me wonder when they, like, knew that all just his interviews and stuff about it. Yeah, it's obvious he's not thrilled. So, and even during the promotions of him trying to, like, hey, go watch it, he knew what happened with it. Yeah. So, like, he's like, go watch us. We did a really good job, and every time did real good. But, like,
just stop watching on episode 8 and just think that it ended on a cliffhanger. Okay, bye. Let me see.
Pretty much. So, yeah, that's that.
You know, speaking of shows that are really well paced and then end and then you never get the part 2. And you're like, I'm never gonna get part 2. Sometimes you get the part 2 in a weirdest way possible. That's right.
Yes.
It's back. My mind just went totally blank.
Arthdal.
Thank you. Arthdal rose from the dead. From the ashes of nothing could stop. Netflix deciding they didn't want to fund the next season didn't stop it. Like, the main 2 leads not re-signing, they didn't stop it. Nothing could stop this. A pandemic couldn't stop it. That's right. While you can watch the first season of Arthdal Chronicles,
or first 3, depending on how you want to look at it.
Depending on how you want to look at it. On Netflix. For some reason, Netflix fumbled the bag so catastrophically that Disney was like, we'll do the next season. We'll take it. Don't worry. Okay. At first, when they said, like, oh, Song Joong-ki and, my mind's going blank on her name, are coming back for the second season, I was like, yikes, like, I don't know about this. And then they were like, Lee Joon-gi taking over the role. I was like, my attention is, I am back in the show. Like, I'm back. When I tell you, Lee Joon-gi is somehow better at playing Song Joong-ki playing a character than Song Joong-ki was at playing a character originally. And not only one character, but 2 characters? Like, I was like, how? Like, because they look nothing alike. All right, like,
yeah,
they look,
you stand those guys next to each other, like, no,
nothing alike. Like, no commonalities. When I tell you, he was that character now. And both of them, he was both of those characters. And Shin Hyung, the girl,
I think it's Kyung.
Incredible.
Yeah,
incredible. And the rest of the cast is the same. Even like the big characters, they're all there. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm actually not done watching it yet. But I'm loving it. It's wild.
So it's one of them that I held off on because of the strike situation.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's been so many years, I'm having to rewatch all of the original.
Is it finally on Hulu now?
Yes.
Has it been uploaded?
It is in US Hulu.
It was one of the ones that were delayed. So
yeah,
Canada
it was delayed for us, for sure.
Yeah.
But it is there. So I'm in the midst of rewatching because I'm not saying that other people have to do this. Like, if you've watched it and if you think you can just saunter forth, gret. And
like, you probably could. It would be fine.
Did they review any, like, in the first episode?
Yeah, they do, like, a little, like, basically they have, for some reason, and I don't know who he is and how he fits in here yet because I haven't gotten there, they have Suho there as, like, the narrator, who then shows up with a cool-ass scar on his face and a long-ass wig, and then the show starts, and I'm like, holy shit! My boy's here? Like, what's going on?
What's doing here?
What?
That feels like a dream. Yeah, like, and then Suho was there.
And you're like pausing, and you're like, am I watching?
You were there.
And then, like, they do, like, a little, like, basically, like, a little animated, like, in sort of, like, you know, like, that ink line drawing style. Mm-hmm. Like, so they have that, like, here's the story of these characters and the world and what happened.
Netflix owns the original.
We can't mention that there's previous seasons. We're just gonna throw you into the story. But, like, when I tell you, Jang Dong-gun, who plays, like,
Tagon.
Yeah, Tagon. Like, the villain, sort of a villain.
He's so good, man.
He's killing it. Like, he's so good.
But also Kim Ok-bin.
Kim Ok-bin.
Just Kim Ok-bin just existing. Just like,
and they gave her stunt work with swords. Stop. You get. And when I tell you, there's this one stunt that I think I even, like, went to Sky after I watched it. I think it's in either the first or second episode that Lee Joon-gi's character does involving a horse. And I was like, this was the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like, this one stunt action was the craziest shit I've ever seen. And I was like, the show. And that guy with the mask and, like,
The mask guy. He's one of my favorites.
He's back. He's got a storyline. You'll find out what's up with the mask.
This guy's so excited.
I didn't know that I would ever get to know about Mask Kid.
No, you'll find out all about Mask Kid, okay? Mask Kid has depth, range. Mask Kid has a whole new life, okay? In the 10 years since the previous season ended, Mask Kid's been doing shit.
But that's also why the reason I'm rewatching the other one, because there's so much depth to all, like, the character development in the first seasons over on Netflix. Huge. Like, a lot of stuff goes, it's not just, oh, this happened. It's like, the amount of characters that it involves is just ridiculous. So that's why I wanted to get the emotional depth again, because without it, I felt like I would be going in, and I wouldn't be giving the new one enough room to, like, impress me adequately if I just went in trying to go with my really bad
memory of
I could vaguely tell you, like, I kind of know what they're doing at this point, but as far as, like, now that I rewatch it, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. It takes, like, however many episodes for that second role for that
for you to find out who he is.
Even, like, pop up at all. I forgot that it took forever for him to show up. I was like, oh my gosh, that was forever. So I'm looking forward to it.
No,
yay.
I'm really enjoying it. I had to take, like, a little break because I got distracted by things. I was, like, keeping up with it, and then I had that wedding that I was shooting, and then just I got sick, and then I was watching all these other things, but I'm getting back because anyway, it's
I haven't
wild.
started it yet because I mean my son asked, like, you know, like every 6 months for however many years.
Yeah.
Is that second season ever happening? No, I
like,
think
maybe.
he just gave up, and I'm like, hey, but now he's got, like, school and sports and stuff.
Life is happening. Oh.
He's just too busy to sit and, you know, watch TV with mom.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, I'm really enjoying it. Netflix just fumbled the bag so extraordinarily on this one.
Yeah,
like, it's almost hilarious to watch.
It does kind of feel like maybe Disney just, like, saw its chance and took it. Like, it kind of doesn't feel like Netflix is, like, officially was like, I'm gonna give up all hope on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Netflix, like, original, like, it was like a
TVN but, like, they
thing.
still probably had some sort of rights to be like, hey, producing the next seasons.
Yeah.
And then it probably just, like, slipped because of the pandemic, and then Disney was like, mine. And then like Netflix was like, I
will say that in the second season there's more to do with political maneuvering than the first season had. So, like, if political maneuvering isn't your thing,
but I mean,
like,
it happens
but also
a
lots
lot.
of stabbing. Like,
it happens a lot. It's just
it
was just spread out a lot during all those episodes.
It's
like,
more
if you
condensed in this one.
Whereas, and he had to go gather a lot of people, so that's why it was like. Anyway,
they split it up so, like, everyone's gathered the people now. All the factions have the people.
And now that we have people, we have to play Risk together, and we have to do our political maneuver.
Exactly. It's got, you know, and then it's got the fun, like, you know, will the twins finally meet?
Dun, dun, dun.
So do we know when the strikes officially started?
Yes. The strike started on July.
Is that the writing
14th.
strike?
No, that's the SAG-AFTRA strike.
And the writer's run was, like, a couple months before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the writer's strike started May 2nd. So the writer's strike went from May 2nd to September 27th. Wild. And then the actor's strike went from July 14th to November 9th.
I think another thing that got me was even shows that, like, fell way, you know, like, finished way before this. So, like, one for me is Island. Okay, since Island aired on, for the United States, Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
It's one of my heavy hitters this year, but I didn't get to talk about it for like all these months. And so then it feels like it happened during the strike, which it didn't. It ended way before that. But, like, since I haven't gotten to be like, hey, Island, all that often, I haven't. Yeah. I didn't get to let it adequately be my personality for long.
true. It's true.
So, sorry, not sorry if I start talking about Island a lot on social media.
These things happen, you know? These things happen.
Like, for me, it was the movie Dream with Park Seo-joon and
I need to watch that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's on my list.
Right? Like,
oh my gosh.
I want this. And then, you know, it came out as a movie ages ago, but then we didn't have it in North America because we don't get that. And then it popped up on Netflix, like, right around the time the strike happened. Like, it was right in the summer, and it was like, no, but
classic capers.
So
that's what happened.
I did watch it, and it was great. Like, it's very cute. It's very fun and
nice.
IU and Park Seo-joon have a great frenemy thing that goes on.
Oh, that's good. Oh,
it's so good. Like, it's so good.
Their
thing is like smiling at each other from across the soccer field and waving, and then flipping each other off. Like, that's
the energy.
Perfect.
That's the energy.
It's so good. It's so, and it's based on a true story, which I didn't know going into it.
Fun.
So about, apparently there's like a world homeless soccer championship every year.
Okay.
And
I knew about that.
It's mostly to, like, I think, to raise awareness and money and stuff. And so it's about the first year that Korea took part in this thing, and it's a very, like, Mighty Ducks sort of situation. Park Seo-joon, like, pokes the guy in the eyes, like, for bringing up his mom, and then he has to, like, you know, fix his bad whatever attitude kind of thing, and so they send him off to go coach this homeless soccer team, and
that's fun.
You know,
it's
but
called the
IU
Homeless
is like
World Cup. I just googled it.
Yeah, and
like a
and
charity
like IU is like the director who's she's gonna make a documentary about this to, like, bring awareness and get her cred up and, you know, all this stuff. So, you know, like, just their attitude. She's like, I don't care if you don't want to do this, and if you don't, but I need a good movie, so you're gonna put a smile on, and you're gonna go out there, and you're gonna coach these guys. And here, I wrote you a speech. It's very moving, like, you know. So it's great. It's very.
Yeah, I'm
good.
looking forward to it.
So
I forgot that it had happened.
It was and like they have
when these strikes go
like
down.
lots of, you know, quirky homeless characters and stuff with lots of actors that you'll recognize from things, and like I teared up a little bit because they had some, you know, little sob stories going on and stuff. But I also laughed a lot, and they have really good chemistry together. Like, they're just the flipping each other off and, you know, nonsense is just, every time she turns her, like, sugar sweet smile on him, he's like, something's coming. I know it.
Yeah.
She's gonna,
you're about to make my life difficult.
Yeah. And but very good. So if any of our listeners were like, Amanda wasn't watching an IU movie about sports,
She was.
So,
you know, and we can't even go into all of them because I know there's more, but, like, listen, this is a single podcast. We can't.
Like, one that I haven't invested any time in yet, but I'm going to at some point, the whole, like, from me to you thing.
Yeah.
So, like,
that was on my list, and I didn't.
Like, I was gonna spend time, like, watching the anime, and then watching the, you know, like, I was gonna look into it a lot, but I just didn't invest the time since we couldn't even talk about it. So, like, that's one that I'm definitely gonna
I did that with the Killing Vote, because, like, I started it, and I really liked it, and then, like, the strike happened, so then I was like, oh, well, I can't talk about it, and then also, like, it was airing weird because it was one of the ones that, like, started airing once a week and then was kind of pushed back for sports and stuff. And it's like a edge of your seat kind of thriller. So one a week is not, like, fun. So I was like, I'll just, like, wait till it ends. And then it's now ending. And I think I was able to, like, maybe talk about a little bit of, like, one episode, like, a long time ago, maybe. Or, like, right at the, like, beginning of the strike it happened. But there's just a lot of stuff that, like, I kind of put off, and I was like, okay, I just won't watch it, or you know, watch this.
Like, that was me with my happy marriage. I got into the anime and then I discovered there was a live action movie, which isn't available anywhere that's struck, but it's also not available anywhere. But let's not talk anymore about that. But yeah, it was like the same thing where I was like, I'm gonna really get into this, and I was like, but I can't talk about it, and that bums me out because I really enjoyed it. And that anime had the most misleading title of all time because it's actually about like evil spirits and shit. You know what? That's neither here nor there.
Well, and then there's even like the whole A Time Called You thing. So like I invested time in watching the Taiwanese stuff, the original Taiwanese stuff, because that was not struck because it was on Viki for us or whatever, and so I spent the time on that because I really wanted to start watching. But anyway, it was mid-strike, but I was like, I'm starting to watch this anyway. But I haven't finished the Korean version because, again, why invest my time when I can talk about it? So, yeah.
But then there were also like things like Sweet Home 2 was announced, and it was announced when they were still in strike, and I thought I was going to lose my mind and not even being able to like retweet the post.
Jessie and I were like, we were in a chat together like, this is
what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? And then
the strike ended right when the trailer dropped.
Because
like,
also the other Bok Soon thing that like is my most anticipated drama of the year, the Young Creature, whatever it is. Like they'd also like drop stuff during strike, and I was like, "What is happening? And why are you doing this specifically to me?"
And then Zombieverse too.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I got into Zombieverse. What a show. What a weird.
I started watching a little bit of it this week, like just the first episode. But those scripted, kind of scripted, high concept variety shows where they have to act surprised at stuff is just so funny to me. Like it's such a unique thing they have to do.
It's a weird fun show. Like, there was so much, but we did watch it and we did enjoy it.
Oh, I will just quickly say, just so like we briefly talked about it, but we actually didn't tell you, so we'll just like spoil it here. We watched. Now I'm blanking out the name. Black Knight. As the thing that we recorded. So we watched it and we did a full episode and then immediately
Black Knight episode, and literally I was when I tell you I was opening it in, I was opening it to edit, and there was like strike, and we were like, well, I'm just going to shut my laptop. Oh, we're done here. Okay, never mind. I guess I don't even know what we did instead. But I was like, guys, we can't do more.
We might have just had to skip. I don't know.
What did we do? Maybe we did a general thing.
Or we might have
I think we did something general.
Because we were doing some pre-recordings then too.
Noonas, we did like Noonas romance.
It was a hard time for us too because we had already started to like really pre-plan stuff because Natalia was leaving, so there were pockets of times when she was not going to be available, and we wanted to make sure that like if we needed to pre-record something, like we could, and we had this like all planned out, and it just
elaborate filming schedule,
like our Noonas episode because we did a Noonas genre thing. And we ended getting Natalia started editing it, and then she realized that like half the stuff we were talking about was on struck platforms because it was like one of the first things we did.
I was cutting out the stuff that like talked about stuff on Netflix. I was like, I'm sorry, something in the rain. I'm sorry. You gotta go.
It was just a crazy, crazy time for us.
A wild time. But I'm really glad that they have a contract that hopefully they ratify. That's wonderful. And, stick it to them studios.
Yeah. Always do that.
Man. And support strikes.
Just always support labor and strikes. And even when there aren't strikes, just pay attention. Because, even
if you've never stepped foot in that industry, support their strike.
And also, like, other countries, too. Like, obviously, like, we're talking about other countries' entertainment. But, like, if you get word that, like, a certain drama or, like, just be aware.
Yeah.
If you hear that people haven't been getting rest for like months and stuff, and it's really bad, just it sucks that we have to be so cognizant of what we're consuming. There be capitalism for you in every country, but you can't turn a blind eye to it. So say all that to say, even if there aren't strikes, and even if it's in another country, if you see news of stuff, pay attention at the very least. Like, that's the least you can do to try to support the people that you supposedly support. So, like, at least keep your eyeballs open for them to watch, like, okay, that's not cool. Like, even if we don't have a lot of power for that, at least be aware if there's unfairness, or if they're being taken advantage of, or if it's unhealthy. Like, just know it.
And like, some of you who are newer won't have some of the same stories that some of the people who've been watching, like, especially with Asian dramas and stuff. Like, for some of us, 5 years ago and stuff, that it was not super uncommon to get stories about stuntmen who died, or like backstage hands who died because stuff went wrong, and things like just
no sleep
stuff that is not appropriate, and like they pulled it back for a little while, but it seems like it's creeping back the other direction again. And like, I don't want like Joe the Boomer guy to like die because he didn't get enough sleep and somebody didn't fasten something right. Like, that's not what I want from my entertainment. I'm happy to just wait until next week and everybody got to take a nap. Like, it's fine.
So support your people. Support all the cast and crew of everything that you watch. Usually where you do have the most power is like, hey, if you're in whatever country, whatever streaming service is based in your country, like that is where we can do a little bit more movement and stuff, like what we tried to do here. Like, not promote and things like that, because that's what we felt like we could or couldn't do. But at least being aware, it helps.
And listen, if someone tells you, not talking about the strike's not going to make a difference, do it. It doesn't matter. Every little bit helps. Like,
everyone has their own prerogative, like, to do what can help them sleep better at night in this hellscape that we live in.
We should be condemning people, be like, oh, well, that you don't have to blah blah. I'm aware of this. This is like, I knew that, like, there was nothing going to, like, happen to me. Like, I am aware. Like, I'm not part of SAG. I wasn't, technically, most of the stuff I talked about anyways was reviews. So, like, even if I was in SAG, it didn't matter. Like,
fine.
Yeah, and was Asian shows, so definitely didn't matter. But it was the principle of the, like, thing. Like, just
Noonas don't cross the picket line.
Human, like,
we don't do that shit. We don't do that shit here. And also, like, don't be that person who's like, well, actually, you don't need to. I'm like, fuck off.
And I mean, the reality is we had lots of stuff to talk about, even without it. Like, we're saying it was difficult.
It wasn't in the
lots of other stuff for us to watch.
Yeah.
And it's like,
we just focused in a different direction. That's all.
And to be honest, like, when we say something like there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, that doesn't mean you have to consume in the least ethical way possible.
Yeah.
So you can choose to do these small acts of defiance.
Well, and that's
against the system.
Everyone on a personal level, on a daily basis. It's not just entertainment. It's with foods we consume or anything like that, like how we purchase things, whatever.
Yeah.
We have to make personal decisions that we have to be the most okay with, decision by decision. So, like, we shouldn't sit here in judgment of like, let's not be the police. Gross. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We were just minding our business and telling you why we were doing it. You don't have to tell us why we could do it.
Yeah.
But we're happy, and we hope that with the strikes, like, it'd be great if they don't have to do a strike. It'd be great if, but like, there's stuff out there saying that there's aspects of whatever deals that aren't good for certain type people and certain aspects of, be it voiceover or certain topics or whatever. And again, just because a strike is over, that doesn't mean we turn our ears off and don't pay attention to the fact that
there's still more work to be done.
If there's a subsection of like voice actors that really need to be heard about something, let's listen to them. Yeah. And I've even seen already. So in the coming year, please be paying attention to the Animation Guild. That is the next thing that will be, their contracts will be up, and they're very concerned that they're not going to have the attention because everyone's going to be kind of, burnt out from this or whatever, that they're, oh, didn't we already settle this? No, animation is a totally different guild. It's a totally different contract. That's a totally different concern, especially with AI now. So, like, please be paying attention to that. Always be paying attention to the people that make the entertainment that you consume and so enjoy. Please remember that it's people that make this stuff run and not just the people in front of the camera.
Yeah.
That's my soapbox.
Listen, we're all on the soapbox. We're holding the soapbox steady for you to keep talking. Yeah. So on that note, thank you for listening to this episode of Certified Noonas. You can listen to it wherever podcasts can be found, but also if you want to watch it with your eyeballs, you can go to youtube.com because we now in video, in beautiful video. Technicolor, exactly.
With llamas.
With llamas.
Rainbows.
Now
text
with llamas.
and images.
Body llama.
Listen, I put a lot of effort into these bad edits, so please go watch it on YouTube and leave a little like and leave a lovely comment about I don't know, what do they do to, like, engage people on YouTube? They're like, comment this in chat. Like, I don't know. We're not...
Tell us what your favorite, whatever.
Yeah, what was your favorite of the shows we watched? I don't know. we don't do this.
Tell us what show we should be watching from a struck platform.
Yeah, from a previously struck platform. Anyway, thank you for listening to us. Seriously, we appreciate every single listen that we get. We all think you are the best, and maybe more people on YouTube will find us now that we do 50. It's real slim pickings because we're not really known for our YouTube channel. I'm gonna be real. No. We do pretty good on the old audio, but we're in visual now. Anyway, and if you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certified Noonas to join the Certified Found Family. There are found family on the web, and we think they're great. And we do a movie night, and we have some extra stuff, and they get extras, and it's super fun over on Patreon. And if you want links and also the time codes, you gotta go to certifiednoonas.com, our website, where every single episode can be listened to, and with all the links of the things that we're talking about. Anyway, that's about it for us. We hope you have a great week. Keep supporting labor, wear a mask, wash your hands, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Goodbye!
Bye!